Hey there, YouTube. It's Petey. It's March 15th. The weather is broken a bit here in Chicago. We have a two-bedroom apartment that has a front sliding patio door and a rear sliding patio door, which was one of the things that I really liked about the building was the idea that um, I could air the place out by opening both of the patios open wide if I had any reason to do so. Now, which in all reality, if you really know me, you'd know that it would be spray painting. would be anyway. These patio doors need to be maintained. If you don't maintain them, eventually they'll get really hard to. The nylon wheels on the screens will break, and you can replace those. Um, there's little spring adjusters, and it's basically a dance of getting that tension balanced properly across all four wheels. Um, you can raise the screws, and then they'll raise the wheels, and you can pop all four of the wheels in, and then lower the screws to make sure that the patio door won't come off. It's one of the ways you can do that. If you've got a patio door that keeps falling off, the wheels need to be adjusted or replaced, and they're only a couple bucks per wheel. This is something you may find yourself having to maintain your own apartment if you have a set it and forget it landlord who doesn't like to put money back into the building like we do. You may find yourself having to do your own repairs, whether you rent or own. But knowing that it's really not a big deal to fix the main sliding glass door, if it's feeling like you're sliding it a little bit and then all of a sudden it's hitting a spot where it's really hard and you can't get it past that, I'm here to tell you how you can fix that today. So the first step is to grab a clean vacuum and vacuum out the track. You can sweep the track, then vacuum is a smart way to do it, but you're going to want to vacuum out the bottom of the track with the door closed and then open the door and vacuum the other side of the track. Additionally, it's nice to have a sweepy brush, or like if you have a dust pail and a debris brush combo, you take the debris brush and then just get the cobwebs out of there. We want to basically get the area as clean as you can quickly without spending too much time on that step. Next up, close the patio door and get yourself about a dozen paper towels. And you're going to need a solvent. Now you could try using rubbing alcohol. It's really not strong enough. I would recommend paint thinner, acetone. If you don't have that charcoal lighter starter fluid, like we had bought this green charcoal starter that was marked down. And we found that when we used that green charcoal starter, it had a smell that was so strong, we smelled it on the food, and it was a very unpleasant smell. So I had all these bottles of that left over, and I've used it for solvent. Now, when I started doing this, basically what you want to do, I had not acetone, I had naphtha. Naphtha, like, it's a wonderful solvent. I buy it in a gallon of naphtha and it'll last me a while. Some people use it in extracting processes. If you're like making DMT or different drug procedures, sometimes people will use naphtha. So it's one of those things. It's a flammable liquid that comes in a Sunnyside gallon pail. And if you have a spray bottle of that, you can also just buy WD-40 and use that as the cleaner. But there's a rail that the wheels balance on. The glass sliding patio door has a rail that's about the size of a 25-cent piece high, and also on the top be that rail. And if you run your finger across that rail and if it feels gummy at all, or if you can see that it's black, it's got gunk, it's gunked up, that's the reason that you're having a hard time opening the patio door. So for me, our rail was foul. It was gunked up. So we started using the acetone, the naphtha, and the little spray bottle, it wasn't working that good. I got frustrated and I went and grabbed some of the charcoal, the green charcoal starter, and we just blasted that in there and used a good number of paper towels to quickly clean that up. And those were coming out like jet black gunked. The paper towels were so black, right, Conti?
Yes.
They were sludged. And how many paper towels would you say we fouled with that? Like 6?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
6 to 10 paper towels to clean the rails and get all the gunk out of there. And when we ended up, they were really clean because we had kind of spot cleaned it with the acetone, and then we flood cleaned it and completely absorbed all that up with paper towels. After that, you need to lube it. And if you look this up, I may have went with oil or grease at some point. I may have not looked back in the old drinking days when I wasn't like Googling everything. I may have put bicycle grease or oil on there. Really don't want to do that. You want to get a silicone-based lubricant. So if you can get spray silicone, WD is a good example. You can use that, but you're going to want to spray down should really start with the top and quickly spray, and you can let it drip. It'll drip right down onto the bottom rail. You're going to want to fully open the drapes. It's the first step of the cleaning this procedure, is all the way open on the drapes. You can even take those off and hand clean them. Is a good thing to do if you've been living there a while. But like I said, real quickly moving that, we had the nozzle. There's a little red plastic nozzle. I had that on this can of WD, and I real quickly went across on the front side and then on the rear. And then I went and did the bottom, and then I opened the door and repeated on the top, both sides, and then on the bottom. Then when I'm done, I'll open the door halfway, and I went up to the top and I sprayed in so I could try to maybe hit the wheel a little bit. And then I went to the bottom and where the cutout is for the rail, and I sprayed in there again. And then I opened the door and went around to the opposing side, not the leading edge or the handle side, but the other side of the door. Did the same thing. A little squirt of the silicone lubricant, the top wheel, and then in the bottom slot again. Once you've sprayed that, it's a good idea to take the door and jockey it back and forth a half a dozen times to your heart's content. And then you can call your partner or your loved one and say, would you test this door for me and see how it opens? And they'll be thrilled with you. They might even give you a break. So that's something you can do. It takes about 10, 15 minutes, and you can solve one of those problems. It does require some materials. Again, if you're a sensitive person or you're weird about exposing yourself, you're going to want to wear gloves so you don't get any of these chemicals on your hands. You can also wear a respiratory thing if you don't want to be inhaling any of this. Because see, the thing about it is you have to use your eyes. You may be able to get away with just using the WD-40 as both the cleaner and the solvent. You could spray the WD-40 on a paper towel and clean it and see how much gunk is coming off of the rail. Is the rail gunked, or is it just need to be cleaned up a little bit? In our case, it was gunked, and we had to go with a more aggressive method for removing all that gunk and then applying the lubricant liberally. That we should be good for at least 2 years now. Now, this is something you should never let this get to the point where you're struggling with it, because it's not a big deal to do this job. And like for what you have to put into it to what you get out of like this, wow, this thing really opens like it's brand new now, as opposed to that ignorance of being scared to do it or thinking that you need to replace a part or replace the door or call a repairman. Right, Ganti?
Yeah, it was only like 5 minutes.
It's not a big job. You'd be surprised. Although, if you go about it the wrong way, you will make a mess and you will end up regretting it. So, to review, in order to fix the sliding glass patio door, you need a silicone lubricant. You need to clean the area and prepare the surface. Prepare the area, meaning fully open the drape, run a vacuum through the tray, run a vacuum across the top. If there's cobwebs, get your sweepy brush and brush them out. And then start in with some paper towel or rags and some type of whatever your favorite solvent is, either that acetone, paint thinner, kerosene will work, gasoline will work, or charcoal starter fluid, or like naphtha. You think naphtha, well, that's also Ronsonol, like Ronson lighter fluid that you put in a Zippo. That's the same thing. The same thing. And that Ronsonol makes for a wonderful household solvent. I'm a huge fan of household solvents. Like as I sit here, I've got paint thinner, and this is 90 ISA. And then I have, this is Petey's chemical tote. I keep this, it's pretty, it's about within my grasp. So I have vegetable oil, which is a wood polish. It's used for guitar fretboard. We have the thinner. We have the 90 ISA isopropyl alcohol. This is flat screen monitor cleaner, and I think this may be homemade. There's a recipe for this. You can look that up. I think it's water mixed with a little rubbing alcohol. This is spectacle cleaner, glass cleaner. We have regular household Windex. We have, oh, there's nothing in here. Oh, this is what I was just talking about for the car.
What was it?
I got this from,
What was it?
I got this from Goodwill. It smells like dish soap.
Nothing? Just the sticker. What is the sticker?
It's a Goodwill price tag.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something.
So you should put dish soap. Now
No, not
these
dish soap. Glass cleaner? Is that what you
yeah. This is a really neat thing to have. This has a well, and you press this down. This actually needs to be refilled. There's only a little bit in here. But this is a if you don't want to waste your solvent, this is something that's really nice to have. And you can get these on Temu, AliExpress, or eBay. Plastic liquid dispenser bottle. So this presses down a couple of times, and then it'll put a drop of that liquid. Whatever you need to do it closed. And when you open this up, there'll be a couple drops of the liquid. You can see there. So then you can take a Q-tip or whatever, however you need to dispense it, if you have a syringe with the needle. But yeah, these work really good for if you need to get a Q-tip. You're going to be using Q-tip as your applique. That's what that's for. So again, the The gunk that we had on our track was so nasty. We had to use a more aggressive solvent. I don't think you could use IPA of isopropyl alcohol. Honestly, I would say you don't, I like, if you're just a normal person, you're not like me that's into science and building stuff. You're not a hacker type. I don't mean computer hacker. I mean hacking stuff together, hacking old technology. You can just as soon clean your rail just with your silicone lube. If that's WD-40, it probably is. They sell a silicone spray lube you can buy. So yeah, this video was really long. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love for you to subscribe here. I do all kinds of fun stuff here on this channel. A lot of it's based around making music. I love to do that. I got a guitar here. My wife plays her bass. We got some new songs. We're working on this stuff. I got one now that's kind of like, it sounds like almost like a Mexican, like if a guy had a custom car and you would hit his horn, it would play this melody. But it's a distorted guitar that we're using. It's our aggressive, the past couple of years, I really didn't have many songs that use the guitar with that distortion on it. But this year I've got a few of them now. I'm going back towards that a little bit. I mean, for years didn't have any clean guitar. It's always dirty. And then I kind of went over the other way, and it was all clean guitar. Now I'm bringing a little bit of that back. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. Maybe my wife and I'll do a little rehearsal today. We really need to start practicing this stuff because the weather's getting nice, and we're going to have to get out here and do our remote where we film this stuff. We want to be at that level where we can play it without really making too many mistakes, so we can bring a video for you guys and share this music with you. It's a lot of work, what we do. We've done a mind-numbing amount of work for this band for really nothing in return. Absolutely nothing. Other than, we get the pride out of, and the self-respect that we're not necessarily passively living our life. We're creating all this art, but it's like there's no audience for it, which is a little bit weird, and it's not ideal. It really isn't ideal. I mean, ideally, if you're working, you get rewarded for that. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this one. I hope you fixed your patio door. If this was helpful, let me know in the thing. Or if you're just a fan of this channel, you can always pop in and say hi. That tends to mean a lot to me. So, all the best to you guys. I hope you're enjoying the weather. We got out and took one walk, and the next day I woke up and it was like I had this intense shattering pain in my ankle. I have no idea what that was about. I think I've had this before. Takes a couple of days to get back to normal. So the next day my wife comes home and says, yeah, we're going out. We're going to take a walk. And I said, I can't go anywhere. I can't put any weight on my ankle. But that's my life. Anyway, you guys, I will talk to you soon. Hug your pets is what I always like to say. And peace.